Please welcome the Honorable John Andrews, the co-founder of the Western Conservative Summit.
Jeff Hunt, thank you so very much, and friends at Western Conservative Summit 2018, how great to be back with you. Some of you remember, you're old enough to remember almost over 40 years ago, a summer day, 1977, Elvis left the building, and the nation mourned. He has yet to come back, and just let me tell you, if Jeff Hunt can't find him and bring him back, he's not coming back. Then there was another summer day, 2015. Andrews left the summit, and again the nation mourned. But here's the difference, and probably the only significant difference between me and Elvis. Jeff Hunt found me, he brought me back, and here I am. That's right, friends, Elvis is back in the building. Andrews is back in the building. I keep confusing the two of us. I don't know, though, about speaking so far down on a lineup of world-class speakers. Just think back over yesterday's morning session, and afternoon session, and evening session, and the workshops and the breakouts, and today's morning session, and then the workshops. And dear friends of mine and stars of the Colorado conservative movement, and indeed the national conservative movement, like Derek Wilburn and Laura Carno, and now me. I feel like Elizabeth Taylor's fifth husband on their wedding night. I know what's expected of me, but I'm afraid I can't make it interesting. But really, I'm so honored to be with you because we're gathered this weekend for a high purpose. We're stewards of a sacred trust. You know, the Western Conservative Summit isn't just any conference. Centennial Institute isn't just any think tank. Colorado Christian University isn't just any college. No, CCU stands for truth and right. It doesn't relativize those like most educational institutions. It honors them and it hands them on. And Centennial Institute is that rare think tank challenging us to approach public issues as one nation under God, not a self-seeking gaggle of identity groups. And this Western Conservative Summit, it rallies thousands of us who love liberty under law because we love our Creator and love our neighbor, and yes, even love our enemies. We link arms to conserve our civilizational heritage for the benefit of all mankind. For Donna and me, all who attend the summit are like family. We've missed being with you for a couple of years now, and it's just great to be back. I want to talk to you today about the healing of America and about a new political force that can lead the way, something you're already part of, whether you know it or not, a new force I call Element R. I want to encourage you, but I'm not going to do it with happy talk. In fact, I begin with a stark warning. I submit to you, freedom is in grave danger, not from foreign adversaries or alien ideologies, but from its own hand. We conservatives have our work cut out. We must rise to the occasion strategically and fiercely. If freedom were natural in the human condition, our founders, such as Washington and Hamilton, wouldn't have called America an experiment. If government of the people, by the people, and for the people were imperishable, Lincoln at Gettysburg wouldn't have challenged us never to let it perish. So today, 2.5 centuries after the American Revolution, 500 days into the Donald Trump presidency, why do I say freedom is in danger from its own hand? Well, look across the landscape and tell me which of our troubles result from too little liberty. Look at the divorce epidemic, the illegitimate birth epidemic, the drug epidemic, the incarceration rate, the suicide epidemic, the mass murder epidemic. Look at the abortion holocaust. Think of the 60 million that Matt Walsh challenged us to never lose sight of. Look at the hostility between the parties, hostility between the races, hostility between the sexes. Look at millions of men dropping out of the workforce in their prime. Look at our undefended borders and sanctuary cities. Look at the silent inroads of civilizational jihad in some of our major national institutions. Look at the millennial generation, we've heard this again and again this weekend, telling pollsters socialism sounds pretty good, but freedom of speech and the First Amendment, not so good to those millennials. Look at the polarization of our mainstream media and the degradation of popular entertainment. Friends, I cherish freedom as much as you do, but we can't simply say these pathologies will all turn around with a bumper sticker prescription of more freedom and less government. We have to think again and ask what more is needed. What more is needed, I'm convinced, is responsibility. Freedom is about what may I do. Without freedom, life is pretty drab. But responsibility is about what must I do. Not because I'm the subject of any ruler, but because I'm the image of God and accountable to Him. Without freedom, life is drab, but without responsibility, life is impossible. And friends, America is dying. I don't exaggerate. America is literally dying for a rebirth of responsibility. Who better to meet that imperative than conservatives like you and me? What better time to begin it than right now? Because our beloved country is showing some signs of aging. It's showing some wear and tear. Ask yourself, on the ladder of the rise and fall of great nations, where are we? It's been observed that great nations ascend from bondage to faith to courage, next to liberty, and then at the peak, through liberty, they achieve abundance. But after that, unless something counteracts the entropy, nations descend from liberty to abundance to complacency, then to apathy, then to dependence, soon finding themselves back in bondage. God forbid that ever becomes America's fate. But what are we doing about it? Our children, our grandchildren want to know. I once believed freedom is the master value for human flourishing. Life has taught me it's not that simple. Freedom as an end in itself, no limits, no standards, no glue, is corrosive to the human soul. It's self-devouring to the body politic. Individual freedom is only beneficial and sustainable when we balance it with personal responsibility. For every right, a duty. For every privilege, an obligation. For every choice we make, a debt incurred and other choices foreclosed off the table. Grown-ups know that. Infants don't. Liberty run to license has infantilized so much of our culture. I would have said all of our culture and all of our body politic until the forgotten Americans in the heartland rose up and chose Trump over Hillary 2 years ago. But the infantile is still too much with us. Someone has to be the grown-ups and do the hard work of putting responsibility back in balance with freedom. Why not us? It was back in 2007, before the first summit, before the Tea Party, before Trump, I wrote a column calling for a rebirth of responsibility in this country. I said, let's have a third force not beholden to either party, a responsibility movement called Element R. That was 11 years ago, and we only need it today, ever more. I invite you to join me in committing yourself as part of Element R. There's no sign-up or dues or meetings. It's just a commitment you quietly make to yourself and then start following through. If we don't rebalance freedom with responsibility and do it soon in every area of our lives in a big way, I honestly fear for this country. But I'm of good cheer because I believe Americans still have what it takes. Do you agree? Do we still have what it takes? I close with a quick to-do list that I proposed for Element R almost a decade ago in my book on responsibility. Notice how apolitical most of it is and how timely it still is. 10 quick points. Strengthen families. Insist on learning. Renew a common culture. Expand charity. Expect more of churches. That's 5. Revive neighborliness and civic duty. rebuild our defenses, resist over-government, guard U.S. sovereignty, and protect freedom of conscience. That's 10. Friends, set these responsibilities against all those pathologies I named, and you see how a grassroots responsibility movement could start to heal our land. Not just buy us some time, not just patch us up, but truly heal our land. Here at the Western Conservative Summit, shouldn't that be our goal, the healing of America? Whether you're a Christian devoted to the gospel, whether you're Jewish and devoted to the Torah, whether you're just a patriot devoted to the American miracle, we are called to a higher purpose than just winning, a higher purpose than security and success. We're called to be a force for good, a healing force. As Element R, responsible citizens in a responsible society, we can be that. Our founders expected this of us. Our children and their children deserve it from us. What are we waiting for, Summit? What are we waiting for, Element R? Let's do them proud. Let's go forth and astonish the world. Friends, thanks so much.